as two San Antonio chambers of commerce each take different sides. A local food catering firm continues its controversial contract to profit off immigrant children separated from their families.
San Antonio Chamber of Commerce released a statement that just defended the arcade group to the hilt and said that what they're doing is a good thing. They're feeding these kids out there.
The man who killed Elmendorf's police chief is not guilty by reason of insanity. And the former mayor of Crystal City is sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. I'm Chance Storlin with your Express Briefing for Tuesday, July 3rd. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. The two biggest San Antonio chambers of commerce are split on whether a local catering firm should be feeding children in a tent city in Tornillo that sprang up as a result of the Trump administration's separation of families at the border. Here's San Antonio Express News Metro columnist Brian Chasnoff.
The RK Group is San Antonio's oldest catering firm, ingrained in San Antonio. Rosemary Kowalski, she's 94 years old. She founded this company, I believe, on the west side of San Antonio many, many decades ago. You know, when I found out that the RK Group was doing the catering out there, and I reported that, it did cause a reaction. I think the most notable was Shirley Gonzalez, the District 5 councilwoman. As soon as she discovered this, she called Rosemary, she called Greg Kowalski, Rosemary's son, who runs the company, and demanded that they give up all the profits they're earning out there to a charity that would help reunite children with their parents.
While the RK Group has condemned President Trump's recently rescinded policy of separating children from their parents in order to prosecute the adults, describing their presence in Tornillo simply as providing food services to the children in crisis, holding that position hasn't prevented controversy from spreading.
There was blowback against Shirley, and the most recent example of the debate kind of bubbling up into the public sphere is the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce released a statement that just defended the RK Group to the hilt and said that what they're doing is a good thing. They're feeding these kids out there, kind of in line with what I hear from a lot of the defenders of the RK Group saying somebody's got to feed the kids. That's the basic argument. So I called Ramiro Cavazos, the president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and he had the opposite take on this. He said they need to get out of there. What they're doing is wrong. They should not be profiting off of this situation. So that's really interesting because it's polar opposite reactions.
Hear more details on the ongoing controversy surrounding companies profiting from children separated from their parents at the border on today's episode of Puro Politics. Available for free download in Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, and at expressnews.com/podcasts. Monday, the man who gunned down the Elmendorf police chief in 2014 was acquitted of murder after he pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, with the judge in the case ruling that a preponderance of evidence showed 28-year-old Joshua Manuel Lopez suffered from serious mental illness and did not know his conduct was wrong when he shot Chief Michael Pimentel twice, once in the shoulder and once in the abdomen. The ruling was a devastating blow to Pimentel's family, who have waited 4 years for the case to go to trial, as Lopez was treated for paranoid schizophrenia in a state hospital. If a judge rules Lopez is no longer dangerous, he could be released into an outpatient or community-based setting. Michael Pimentel joined the Elmendorf Police Department as chief in March of 2013. He was on patrol the morning of August 23, 2014, when he pulled Lopez over just one block from the home where Lopez lived with his grandparents in order to serve a warrant that charged Lopez with graffiti of a city truck. Shortly afterward, Lopez shot him, and the police chief died that afternoon at the age of 64. And Monday, former Crystal City Mayor Ricardo Lopez was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for his role in a municipal bribery and kickback scheme. The 42-year-old was one of 5 city officials indicted in early 2016 following a 3-year federal investigation of public corruption in the low-income South Texas community. Later that year, Lopez and former city manager and city attorney James Jonas III were named in an expanded superseding indictment that included charges of conspiracy, bribery, wire fraud, and theft. In the trial, city manager Santos Camarillo testified Lopez had squandered more than $18,000 in city funds on questionable trips and events, including going to Houston for an Asian Lunar New Year festival. Still to be dealt with are former city council members Gilbert Urabazo and brothers Roel and Rogelio Mata, who after each pleading guilty to one count of bribery will be sentenced in September. And that's your daily San Antonio Express News Briefing for Tuesday, July 3rd. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.